Hey friends, welcome to a new episode of Hot News. We got a lot to see, so why don't you come on the panoramic tour with me? Let's jump into it after I tell you that today's sponsor is Privacy.com. They are the best place to go if you're trying to buy things on the internet safely. You don't want to give your credit card out there so that hackers can take it, so that companies, if they lose their information, just spill all your contents of your private life out on the internet. No, my friends, Privacy.com makes it so easy to get one-time use cards where you could set per charge limits, per month limits, per year limits, and make it so that you know where your money is and how much is allocated to a certain retailer. They can be retailer bound so that you know if it tries to get charged after the fact that they got hacked and oh, hey, maybe you shouldn't shop there anymore. And Privacy doesn't sell your information. They don't make money that way. They make money through the credit card transactions just like a normal credit card company would. And in fact, they've saved their customers, over $100 million in the last 2 years. So if you're looking to get signed up with Privacy, you can get $5 off your first purchase by going to privacy.com/UFD. Again, that's privacy.com/UFD. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this episode of Hot News. And now let's heebie-jeebie on over to the goodness, which is, what, heebie-jeebie is not a good verb for you? Sorry, Tank. Anyways, Lisa Su confirms that Navi will have launches in 2019. Not just a singular launch, my friends. She used a plural there, which is something that is pretty intriguing. So this is coming during their Q4 earnings call, which we'll talk more about in just a little bit, where she expressed that there's going to be a lot of gaming growth going on in 2019, specifically saying our gaming growth will be driven by new products. We would see that as we go through this year and with our Radeon 7 launch, yeah, sure, that's going to grow you, as well as our Navi launches on the gaming side. If I had to guess, I think those multiple launches will probably be the announcement of the next gen consoles of PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever heck we're gonna call it. As Linus put it, the RTX box, which isn't a bad name because it might have ray tracing. So the console side of things, then desktop Navi to replace Polaris in the RX 580 range of things, and then thirdly, in the mobile sector to potentially replace Vega compute units that are typically found in either the mobile scenario or with Intel on the Kaby Lake G product. Having a low-end, low-power Navi solution would be pretty good. I think that's exciting, or alternatively, she could mean that we're gonna have multiple desktop launches, of which we get the mid-tier and then the high-end tier towards the end of the year. I'm not necessarily betting on that because there's been rumors floating out there that they had to retape Navi, which means that the process that they had set up with TSMC didn't come back the way that they were expecting, which is why we didn't get it announced at CES, and instead we're looking at it more towards the end of the year. It could be that we're not going to see a big Navi, which is, you know, something that's going to compete with the RTX series of cards, but rather we're going to just see the mid-tier Navi this year. Either way, exciting times. Lisa Su confirming Navi this year in multiple different varieties. We'll have to wait and see what that's going to be. But we have good news about AMD. They reported their earnings. This is where Lisa Su talked about Navi. There are some key things that we should be really paying attention to. So their net income was $38 million, which doesn't sound like a whole lot for a quarter, but when you compare it to Q4 of 2017, that was a net loss of $19 million. So they increased their profits by $57 million in just a year, which proves just how powerful the Ryzen brand has been for them. It's pretty sweet. I'm not necessarily sure that a whole lot of AMD Radeon sales were driving that, especially since this is Q4 exclusive and mining was dead a long time before Q4. So this is primarily going to be due to new Ryzen and EPYC sales, and hot dang, AMD is looking like they're gonna have a tremendous 2019 if Zen 2 is all it's cracked up to be. If Navi is at least 75% of what it's cracked up to be, I can't trust them on the GPU side of things anymore. I'm expecting that 2019 is the year of AMD, at least on the CPU side. So that's some good stuff. Let's talk about the GPU side. We got some leaked benchmarks of the Radeon 7 coming out, and it's kind of what I was expecting, at least from the keynote, AMD showing that it competes with an RTX 2080. So the benchmarks that we have for the Radeon 7 are coming from 3D Mark as well as Final Fantasy 15. So these 3D Mark scores are basically slightly better than an RTX 2080. And then these Final Fantasy 15 benchmarks are slightly, actually significantly worse than an RTX 2080 and a 1080 Ti. But I mean, friggin' Final Fantasy 15 is a GameWorks game, so what do you expect out of that? It's kind of okay. This is exactly where I think it's gonna line up. It's perfect against a $700 RTX 2080. because the Radeon 7 is going to be $700, you can get $700 RTX 2080s, and basically, like, it's going to be, do you want red or do you want green? And with the fact that FreeSync is no longer an AMD exclusive, it makes that decision a little bit harder if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, because ray tracing can be implemented in a few ways, and if you want that extra feature, the Radeon 7 is going to be a hard sell. But if you want to support the underdog, you want to support Team Red, then Radeon 7 at $700 can be enticing if we actually get it at that price, because if you remember back to Vega when it launched, low stock amounts just led to these sheer insane prices, which could be what we're getting with Radeon 7. We'll have to wait and see. And then you can see that PowerColor, ASUS, MSI, Sapphire, and ASRock all have their reference models available to ship. You can see all of the pictures here. And then there was some confirmation that PowerColor would be coming out with custom Radeon 7s through some leaks that happened out there, but PowerColor actually came out and said, we did clarify to the media that at this moment we will only carry AMD reference designs, and at the moment we do not have custom model planned in the immediate future. So they say that they expect that people want the Red Devil version of the Radeon 7, but they have no plans to bring it out at this point. Just not at this point was their words. So yeah, custom versions of the Radeon 7 not happening. AIB partners definitely in on it, but it looks like it's only gonna be reference models, which is exactly what happened with Vega. It appears to be an AMD staple at this point. You get no fancy coolers. Although the reference version of the Radeon 7 is actually not too bad. And then the last news about Radeon 7, so Fudzilla, they came out with a report that the HBM2 that was in the card is gonna cost upwards of $320 for the 16 gigabytes of HBM2. They decided that since that article was so popular, they went ahead and like priced out the rest of the bill of materials to come up with a total cost of $650 plus to make this Radeon 7 card, which means AMD is probably not making a penny once you consider advertising costs and actually getting this out to consumers. This is kind of what we talked about when this was announced. This is not a profitable card for them. This is just for them to have something right now to get some mind share there at all. I mean, it gives me the confidence in AMD knowing that they're not gouging us on the price for the Radeon 7, but it doesn't make me hopeful that it's actually going to sell well, especially if they're losing money. Why would they give stock to retailers to actually sell this? They wouldn't want to sell it. They want to put it in the hands of a few reviewers, and then they would want to make sure that it's available for the people who need it for builds and stuff, to make sure that people know about the Radeon 7. But as far as people actually getting one, I doubt that's a high priority for them, especially with the production cost being so gosh dang high and the price of the cards not being high enough to actually make a good profit. Some more slightly related AMD news, which is the PlayStation 5, Navi, all of that tied in. Anyways, so reportedly Sony is now focusing most of their titles on the PlayStation 5. There are a few PS4 titles ready to come across, but most of it is just going to be focusing on PS5 development. So I'd expect Last of Us 2 to be a PS4 and PS5 crossover. I'd expect Final Fantasy VII Remake to never come out, but if it does, PlayStation 5. What other big games are supposed to be coming out? The Bloodborne 2, I would expect that to be on PS5, maybe even a launch title.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, this the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, PlayStation 5. Yeah, I'm down for all of this. God of War sequel, PS5. Yeah, please give me some Zen 2 Navi goodness. I'll take it. And then let's talk about Samsung. They have launched the world's first 1 terabyte embedded universal flash storage. This is something that typically goes in a mobile phone or a notebook in an Ultrabook type thing. So it could be that this is a precursor to the Galaxy S10 to maybe even have 1 terabyte of full storage. This is pretty impressive. I'm not sure I need a terabyte of storage on my phone, especially since I back up everything to the cloud and I need more cloud storage than I do need local storage. But for any power user out there, this could be fantastic news. You know what else is fantastic news? Sort of, not really. I don't even know why I put it like that. ASUS is launching their RGB hard drives, SSDs. They look like that. Brushed metal, some Aura Sync stuff. It's okay. I'm not sure I need this. I got nothing else to say about that. But you know what else is extra pizzazzle? Like an RGB hard drive? This hexa-channel DDR4 memory kit from G.Skill, the Royal version, coming in gold, 192 gigabytes. A kit, 192 gigabytes that comes between 3200 megahertz and 4000 megahertz. They have a 192 gigabyte kit rated at 4000 megahertz. That is insane. But good news, they actually shipped out our Royals today.
No way.
We'll be getting them next week. So this is great. G.Skill, thanks for sending these over. But wow, that is banana hammocks crazy right there. Speaking of RAM, SK Hynix says that DDR5 should be available in 2020 and DDR6 is coming out, or it's under development rather. So that's going to be pretty dang exciting. So the first memory standard should be DDR5 5200, which will offer nearly double the bandwidth of 2666, which is what most Intel and AMD boards are currently rated for. AMD announced AM4 support up until 2020. They could just kind of have dual legacy boards where some are DDR4 and some are DDR5 on the X670. So we could expect Ryzen 4000 series to support this if I had to guess. We'll talk about Intel when they can actually produce 10 nanometers. Apple says that it might be lowering iPhone prices in certain countries. Obviously, this is coming after the fact that they are losing a lot of revenue because people don't want to buy their expensive phones. It seems like they're going to be doing this in more remote regions rather than the major regions. Hopefully, South Africa is included in that. I really don't like the fact that iPhones cost at least double what they are in the States. Not double, but 80% more. It's a lot. Please drop the price here, Apple. I know it doesn't make America better, but it makes me happy. And then in the best news bit we have for today, a man reportedly paid $11 for a PS4 after pretending it was fruit. And then he was sentenced to 4 months in jail. If you're wondering how in the heck did that happen, you know those self-checkout lines at Walmart where you basically get to scan everything yourself, and then if you want to order some produce, you just enter what type of produce it is, and then it weighs it for you. Yeah, that's how he bought a PlayStation 4. The article doesn't tell us what fruit he claimed that the PlayStation 4 was, but it ended up being $11 for the little console. You know, I think it's not fine, but I can understand somebody maybe just holding the bag up a little bit when they're buying tomatoes. Just reducing its weight by a little bit, something like that. I'm not condoning that. Don't do it. Obviously, it's illegal. Don't be like that. Anyways, the reason this dude got caught was he tried to do it again. And he was arrested on the subsequent time of trying to buy a PlayStation 4 as some fruits. So 4 months in jail for PlayStation fruit. Don't do it, kids. Don't take PS fruit, not even once. PS fruit, don't do it. Anyways, that's where I'm gonna end hot news today. Let me know what you think of Navi's launches coming out, the Radeon 7, PlayStation fruits, anything and everything down in the comments down below. Don't forget that this video is brought to you by the sheer amount of deliveries we got, as well as privacy.com. If you want to save $5 off on your first purchase while shopping around safely on the internet, privacy.com/UFD. Link for that will be in the video description, as well as the pinned comment. And in the pinned comment, I include timestamps. So if everybody who puts a comment of the timestamp to skip everything, and I already do that for you. You're not helping anyone. I help you already. What? Come on. Anyways, I'm done with that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. Love you too.